Hello, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are in the world. I would like to welcome you to this wonderful program that we put together in the area of neuroscience. It's the most exciting area of science, I think, and it will be the next biggest breakthroughs in medicine and in healthcare will be coming from the neuroscience areas of science. So I'm very excited that you have decided to join us in this journey. And that's what it is. It's a journey to understand how the brain works. It's a journey to understand how we can help use this concept of neuroplasticity to help people heal and help people have a better life. We can get to an understanding of how to apply therapeutic neuroplasticity to the brain. So whether you're doing this program because you want to be an affiliated clinic of the Institute of Functional Neuroscience, or whether you want to just further your own knowledge as a clinician of how to apply this stuff, or whether you're just interested in neuroscience and you'd like to understand more, we welcome you all. And I think you're going to find these lessons action-packed and full of information. We put together a very tried and true method of teaching with a variety of different teaching techniques, help you understand the material better. Okay, let's move on without further ado. Now, the recommended textbooks for the course. So the first textbook that is recommended is my textbook, which is Functional Neurology for Practitioners of Manual Medicine. It's the second edition. There is a Korean edition if you would rather if you speak Korean or you'd rather look at it in Korean. We can also get that one for you. And this is published by Churchill Livingston, and you can get this on Amazon or eBay or any of the other sort of places where they sell textbooks. The other two textbooks that I would highly recommend that you get is Neuroanatomy Through Clinical Cases, and this is Hal Blumenfeld's book. It's a very, very good book, and it's got a lot of the anatomy in very simplified and ranging from simplified to difficult or detailed that will cover most of the anatomy that we need to cover in this course. And of course, the other book is The Principles of Neuroscience, which is the fifth edition, which is Eric Kendall and James Swartz. There are other authors on there now, but generally we refer to this as Kendall and Swartz, Principles of Neuroscience. And again, you can get these books off Amazon or eBay or wherever you can find. You can even go to the publisher's website, or you can go to order them maybe through your local bookstore. But I would suggest that you get these books because they're going to be extremely helpful. Now, what you'll find is in the slides, in the lectures that we're going through, I will use a variety of different textbooks and different diagrams and things from a variety of different authors, just because I think it's important for you to get exposed to different diagrams or different approaches that other authors will have. Now, just because I've referred to them in the slides, that doesn't mean you have to go buy the textbook. These are the three textbooks that I think will cover most of the material that you need to know. And if you need extra material, you can always download papers, or we'll give you extra reading to do to augment your learning with these things. So let's now move into neuroplasticity and what it is. I'm just going to give you a very, very brief description of what neuroplasticity is, because this is the thing that's gotten everyone excited, and the concept that you can maybe use neuroplasticity and if you understand it to help someone correct some problems in their brain or help them become more normalized in how their brain works. So basically, neuroplasticity is the brain's amazing ability to reorganize itself based on information that's coming in from the environment. Now, that information is in all forms and all modalities. So it can be vision, can be hearing, can be touch, can be gravity, the pressure of gravity coming in. It can be joint movement. Okay, and it also includes information coming from the inside the body, so things like hormonal concentrations, the activities of the immune system, the temperature of your body, the amount of glucose, the amount of oxygen that you have. All of these things are coming into the brain, and they are all being analyzed and modulated and processed to give your brain a sense of what's happening now inside your body and around you. So when we say environment, we mean both external environment and the internal environment that's inside your body. So if we can understand how those things influence nerves and nerve projection systems, then we have a better chance of understanding how to help people where some of those things have gone wrong. Now, moving through just from neuroplasticity in general to therapeutic neuroplasticity, and our goal to take you to the point where you start to get a grasp of the understanding of how you can therapeutically apply neuroplasticity to problems that are or dysfunctions that are happening in people. And this is the difference in this course from any other sort of neuroscience course that you might take. And the difference is that we're actually going to move into a clinical application when you have enough information to be able to understand that. At that point in the course, we'll move through into the clinical understandings. And even in the first module, we start moving into using case studies and using clinical applications to start understanding the concepts that we're learning. Okay? So basically, when we talk about therapeutic neuroplasticity, it's understanding that the synapses, or the places where the nerves come close together, where they activate each other or inhibit each other, those synapses can be modulated or changed based on activity levels that are coming through them. So synapses that are used a lot are hardwired. They get more strongly wired together, so they have more influence on each other. The synapses where that activity level isn't as great become a bit weakened, or the influence on each other becomes less. So we can use that knowledge to change which pathways the brain uses in different functional activities that it's trying to do. So for instance, we could teach the brain how to use new pathways around a stroke area, or teach the brain to develop new pathways that haven't developed before. So these are very, very exciting things that are new in sort of clinical application in neuroscience. And we want to get you to the point where you can understand those, and you can have maybe your own ideas on how to affect people and how to help people. Now I'm going to show you a video now, and it's just a short video, and it we put it together in conjunction or collaboration with our clinic in Singapore, and it just gives an overview of some of the patients that we've seen, some of the conditions they've had, and some of the results that the therapeutic neuroplasticity approach has had in those patients. And I think you'll find it's a very very, very touching and very, very powerful video, because you're going to see people responding to things that previously they would not have responded to without our understanding of this therapeutic neuroplasticity. So I'm going to show you the movie, and I'll be back after the movie, and we'll finish up just talking about how the brain works as a series of networks, and how we look at those networks and how we can understand those networks better. So enjoy the movie. I'll be back in a second. So I hope you enjoyed that movie, and I hope you got some inspiration and some excitement about some of the results that harnessing neuroplasticity can have. And we're going to take you through in this program to the point where hopefully you can understand how these things happen and maybe gain an insight as to how you could help other people do the same thing. Now, I'm just going to look at a couple of concepts here before we end this lesson. The first is that traditionally in the brain, or the study of the brain, we have looked at different areas of the brain and isolated them into being the major contributor of certain aspects of perception or aspects of brain function. For instance, the frontal lobe was the area of executive function, and parts of memory, perhaps. The temporal lobe was generating some memory stuff and being responsible for some emotional content. The parietal cortex was responsible for, somatosensory input and integration. Motor cortex was associated with movement and things like that, and the occipital cortex with vision. Now, we now understand, yes, a lot of those components of those things happen in those areas of the brain. However, the way the brain works is that in order for any of those functions to be meaningful to us, they have to have several areas of the brain activating or becoming connected, at the same time. So I'll use an example of, I say to you, look, there's a fire truck. So right away, there's an emotional component to that has to also come into your view or come into your perception. So there's the emotional content of, oh, there's excitement around this fire truck. There's, where is the fire truck going? And is someone in trouble? Are they going to get help? Or are they going to not get help? Or, are they going to be there in time? And you probably also activated parts of your memory so that you can understand, gee, that's what he means by a fire truck. So most of you would have pictured a red truck, probably a large red truck with maybe some lights on the top, flashing, people scrambling here and there, and that kind of stuff. So I think having those things all come together at the same time makes that perception or makes that image in your mind meaningful to us, and it allows us to more effectively communicate. So a lot of different areas of the brain have to come together in order for us to perceive things, and we're going to be looking at those functional connections. We're going to be looking at those different areas of the brain that may not have traditionally been thought of as being necessary for certain things to happen. And we're going to also look at how active areas in one part of the brain affect other parts of the brain. So it's a very complex picture that we're going to tackle on this journey. And I'm glad you're coming along with me on this journey, because I think it's an amazing journey, and I think you're going to thoroughly enjoy the program. Now, just to finish off, I'm just going to talk about how we approach therapeutic neuroplasticity. In other words, how can we harness this neuroplasticity power that's inside the brain to actually help us help people that may need our help, may want to improve their performance, may have dysfunctions that they want to improve on. And we do this by starting with the basics. So we have to understand how the nervous system works and how the brain works. And to do that, we have to go right back to the basics, and we have to understand how neurons work. We have to understand the neurophysiology of neurons. We have to understand the anatomy of neurons. And then we go even wider and understand the connectivity inside the nervous system and the neuroanatomy that's necessary. So we are going to take you through all of this stuff in the program, and we're going to see how we can use these pathways and our understanding of neuroanatomy and neurophysiology to apply it to harness neuroplasticity. And that is therapeutic neuroplasticity. And that's what we have done with those patients you saw in the video, and that's what we do every day in our clinics across the world to help people improve their function. So I'm very, very excited that you're here. I'm very excited that we're going to do this thing together.